Well, wow. Is it yet another model from our Harry Rosen segment, or is it the one and only author Michael Grange looking very fresh this morning?
Well, it's not like I buy my own clothes. So.
You look fantastic, and so does your brand new book. Congratulations, you and Dave, of course. Steve Nash, it's all about him, the unlikely ascent of a superstar. Now, why is this, first of all, the time to talk about Steve Nash's career, and why is he the unlikely superstar?
Good questions. I think the timing is clear. I mean, he's at a stage of his career where maybe his best is behind him, so it's interesting to look at how do you arrive at a place where he has, which is the fast track to the Hall of Fame, maybe one of the top 5 point guards of all time. And without question, the best basketball player Canada's ever produced, and we would argue maybe the best athlete Canada's ever produced. And I think when you've got that body of work, it's an exciting time to look into how he got there. We call it kind of like, if a guy's on the moon, isn't it interesting to find out how he got there? And that's sort of was our approach.
So you put him in the realm of the likes of the superhuman stars like the Gretzkys and the Bobby Orrs. You put him in that group.
We do, for sure. And I could even argue maybe ahead of that group because, you know, hockey, as much as we love it, incredible sport, it's only played by a relatively small number of countries and small number of people in those countries outside of Canada, whereas basketball is a global sport. You're competing against the best from China, Africa, North America, obviously Europe more increasingly, and Steve Nash has been absolutely at the top. And when you talk about an unlikely ascent of a superstar, that's almost like the tagline for every conversation about Steve Nash is how did he get from here, which is Victoria, BC, to there, which is the top of the NBA.
Talk to me about his ascent then. I mean, there he was in BC and involved in a lot of sports. He wanted to be a soccer star.
That's right. And I think what's interesting with Steve, and there's two things, is a lot of the stuff that we would interpret as obstacles, and that's part of his biography, really were opportunities. So, sure, it's unusual he came from Victoria, BC, the only NBA, two-time NBA MVP to come from a small little town in BC. But when he was there, it was actually maybe the best place in Canada, maybe one of the best places in the world to develop as an NBA player in terms of the examples of the University of Victoria, a dominant men's team program. Ken Shields, the coach of that team, was a national team coach. He identified Steve Nash at a young age. People like Eli Pasquale, a Canadian national team hero, communicated to him what it would take for a guy like him to make the NBA somewhere he didn't get to. And he leveraged all of those kind of opportunities, and you see that over and over in Steve Nash's story, that at points where maybe some other people will get discouraged or see it as something that couldn't be overcome, he identified those as opportunities.
There it is. It's the raw talent, it's the luck and timing, it's the drive, and it's the grit to get through the people who say you're benching it today. And you actually tell some interesting stories in here about the fact that he would see it as a positive way rather than being benched during the games. He'd say, this is my opportunity to practice with the pros and make me better.
Well, absolutely. I mean, when he got drafted into the NBA, he was playing for the Phoenix Suns, his first time with the Phoenix Suns before his star turn there, and he was behind guys like Jason Kidd, Kevin Johnson, Hall of Fame point guards in their own right. And we tell a story of Steve Konchowski, a national team coach, touching base with Steve, saying, look, you know, you haven't played for a month. Are you okay? And he's like, no, Steve, this is great. I'm getting the opportunity in practice to play against the best players in the world. It's going to make me better. And that kind of approach, if you do that over and over again, year by year, week by week, you end up being pretty good.
It'll pay off. GSP says the same thing. He was the one who got bullied growing up, and look at the superstar he's become. And now he has a movie career. He's unstoppable, right? It's how you brand yourself and how you go into things, and it's not just the raw talent. So inspiring, I think, for all the young boys and girls out there in sports who feel like maybe they're not the strongest player right now. They could become the next Canadian superstar. Thank you for this. For more information, pick it up in any bookstore right now, as well at Michael Grange, to follow him on Twitter, and also maybe give Steve Nash a little hello on Twitter while you're there. Steve Nash, the unlikely ascent of a superstar. Pick it up, guys, and good on him. We can't wait to see what else happens with this young man's career. How old is he now?